Test, test. Come on. Oh, there we go. Alright, looks good. Sorry I'm a little late. I'm getting back from an all-you-can-eat sushi type experience, which is, woof, tough. Anyway, I'm starting a new set today. It's gonna be a single thingy set. It's on the a 2004 trip I took on the Staten Island Railroad. Staten Island Railroad was actually one of my first experiences on the New York City subway, due to the fact. Well, I mean, I went to the New York City subway, but it was really one of my first organized going to New York to do subway stuff that wasn't just in, it happened to be in doing with other activities. And it was because I had this really weird misguided quest to try to set that that nonstop New York City subway riding record. But the way I was going to do it was start on the Staten Island Railroad, because no one had done that yet, or at least claimed a record for it, and therefore it was vacant. So, unfortunately, I was with a friend. We had timed it all out, but unfortunately, we really didn't realize how slow the whole system was. So, anyway, we aborted that. That was back in 1999, but I decided to go back in 2004 to just check out the signaling on the Staten Island Railroad, because it was being redone, replaced with the current sort of cab signals, except that, interlockings. I'm just going to get on with that. The first bunch will be mostly Staten Island Railroad stuff, but then a couple of additionals. I have everything set up, should be ready to go. So there we go. All right. Just going to start here with dealing with some New York City random stuff here. Oh gosh. Here we go. Oh, I'm on the wrong side of the harbor. The Battery Marine Building. All right, so just showing the Battery Marine Building, which at the time was under reconstruction. Again, this is in 2004, so it wasn't that long after 9/11. I don't think subway service was restored, or at least path service wasn't. So, and here you can see the unrebuilt Staten Island Ferry terminal. So. The Battery Marine Building is now open. This is one of those very, very difficult to get to Governor's Island. I think if the feds, even if the feds didn't own it, it was pretty much not accessible to the public, except for unless you knew someone in the mayor's office to get over there. Today, I think it's being turned into a park, and there's scheduled service, which is nice. So this day when I was heading down to the SIF, or heading down to Staten Island, happened to be on the John F. Kennedy, which is nice because it has these open bows. I think the Kennedy is still running, but it is up for replacement. But the replacement will have the open decks like that. In fact, I can try to go and find a thing here. Let me just go to the Staten Island Ferry Wikipedia page real quick and see what they're doing with it. John F. Kennedy, blah, 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 blah. Copy that. But let's see what it's scheduled for something. All these Staten Island ferry boats, most of them have EMD engines, which is your railroad connection. I'm not sure about the Kennedy at the time. John F. Kennedy kept for the time being weekday service as an ad-needed basis, as captains considered to be the most reliable vessel. Riders preferred to the deck space, blah, blah, blah. Oh, gosh, I can't quite tell what's... But berries are going to be replaced. I don't know. Oh, the Kennedy are to be replaced by 3 new Alice class vessels, which I think also have open air decks. But anyway, this is the Kennedy. There we go. At the Whitehall Terminal. And here we have the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel vent house. This is the Governor's Island vent for the BBT. This is not the Men in Black vent in the battery. Brooklyn Battery Tunnel is an 8,000 foot, so it needs multiple vent plants. I think it might be even longer. I have to check. And for those of you who don't know, what's his name? Robert Moses originally wanted to put a Brooklyn Battery Bridge, but those various forces who were opposed to it, marring the skyline, the view, got the Department of Defense or the Coast Guard to require a tunnel because it would block a destroyed bridge would could block access to the Navy Yard. Here we have the Andrew J. How do you pronounce this one? I'm not sure. Let's see. I don't think I need that other boat in here. This is the Andrew J. Barberry. This is the one that's been involved in not one but 2 crashes. Fortunately, only one of them fatal. The first one was due to operator error. The second one was due to the engine order telegraph breaking. These are one of the workhorses. I think these are 19. John F. Kennedy was built in the 60s. These were built in the 1980s. These do have EMD power plants. And it's not Castle Clinton, but there's 2 castles on either side of the this channel, but here, and one of them is Castle Williams. The other one's Castle Clinton. That's at Battery Park. Like I said, this was built in '81. And I said I'm pretty sure at least this one has EMD engines in it. So it would be 645s. The new ones, the brand new ones, the Alice class have 710s, tier 4 even. So don't say that you can't have a 710 do tier 4. The Marine ones can do it, and it'll probably work its way back to the rail ones as well too. Recently took a Staten Island Railroad trip this few months ago, and that's one of those things that led me to was wondering what happened to these photos. Why couldn't I find them? Why weren't they in any of my collections? Then I realized that I never made the transition when I was collecting these older photo sets. I had sort of forgotten about these. Here we have a sort of a hazy view of Castle Williams. Castle being different than a fort because it's made of masonry. At least that's what they'll tell you. I'm not worried about the names, because the original names I used for this were all terrible, so I'm just cutting straight to the chase. Here we have the just the parking area for the SAS ships. Which one is that? I can't tell which one that is. There's something. It looks like the governor or something. Let's see if I can pull this back. Go back a bit. You need one of those grids to show you all the different ships. Could be Samuel L. Newhouse, but it doesn't quite seem to match that. If new Alice classes are in yet? Nah, no pictures yet. So what could that be? There's something. It looks like there's a MAN. It's like R. Newman. John A. Noble? Or is it Samuel I. Newhouse? MV something. Maybe it was something that was already retired. Oh, it's the Governor Herbert H. Lehman. This is another Kennedy class. There it is. Retired in 2007, sold at auction, being scrapped. Newburgh sank after leaving the leak. Third boat, John F. Kennedy, still in service. There we go. Cool. So this one, this is the overnight boat. I forget what that one's called. It's one of the overnight class. You can tell that it's smaller. There's two of the overnight boats. I think that's the Austin class, and then there's another that might be another Kennedy class over there. Try to get a little bit more here. What's that other one? The Austin class. It's St. George. Cool, got that. Sorry, it took a little bit. All right, cutting ahead. Here we have an overhead shot of what is now Victory Interlocking. So, some notes on the Staten Island Railroad. Staten Island Railroad, of course, was a B&O subsidiary. It was the first use of color position lights in 1920. Remained a B&O subsidiary to the 1960s, where it was taken over by the MTA. It's still the last location where their R44 subway cars are being used. The original fleet, I think, being supplemented by some additional ones from when the city retired their 200. The R44s were, of course, built by the St. Louis Car Company. The original signaling involved, basically, there's a tower at St. George with a GRS-NX machine. It controlled the terminal interlocking and this crossover. And then it controlled an interlocking at Tompkinsville at the end of the track. Everything else used temporary block stations with hand throw switches and basic automatic block signaling the entire way. So when it was re-signaled, basically you lost the block signals for cabs, but there were about 5 or 6 new interlockings installed. So you sort of made up for it on that. Let's see. I have the track diagrams here. So here's the St. George Tower. There's an old Tower B, but they built a new tower. But the old Tower B still has the control panel and can override Tower A, or it can work as a alternate control point. Here is the what is now New Victory Interlocking. This again, and or Slauson, installed in 2004. So I'm not sure exactly what. I'm not sure entirely sure exactly what here was original. I know that this crossover was. I guess it might have been, I'm not sure if it was part of the St. George terminal, if it was called Slauson, how it was signaled, any of that, unfortunately. But I'm going to just probably call it, just go with the names as they appeared post 2004, because I have no idea of what they would have been before that. So I'm going to call this, I guess, even though technically this is all Victory Interlocking. See, that's the thing. It's Victory, but it has two locations, Victory and Slauson. Would this have been Slauson? Let's just use that, you know, because this was still technically, at the time, under the control of the St. George Tower B. Let's first zoom in to see what number this guy is, if I can. No, can't see it. Drat. Alright, I'll just call it random R44. Fun fact, at least back in 2004, so the Staten Island Railroad, so the Staten Island Ferry was made free at some point. What the heck? It was made, oh, that's the problem. Staten Island Ferry was made free. Staten Island Railroad only collected fares. There was only fare control at St. George up through, at least in 2004. That meant if you didn't want to pay the fare, you could just walk one stop to Tompkinsville, about a 5-10 minute walk. Since that time, around 2007, they went and installed fare control at 393. So this would be 393 and something else, probably 393 and 392. I think it starts at 400. So they installed these. They installed fare control at the first two stops. So now you'd have to walk even further. So there you go. Sort of. I mean, it's nice that the rest of it's free, I guess. Staten Island Railroad is similar to Path. It's kind of still an active railroad, but really on 1 billion waivers, so it's not really under FRA jurisdiction. It is, but it isn't. Here we have the old, what today would be the 6W signal. I don't know what it would have been back then, but I'll still call it 6W. This has now been replaced, but Today, these have been replaced by safe train simulations of Baltimore and Ohio position lights. Again, the original nomenclature, I did not have any of this stuff. So there we can see the new Victory interlocking with the old 8W signal. Again, I'm not sure if it would have been 8, if it was really 8W then, but that's strange. Looks like this picture was damaged, possibly on the DVD, the CD. Not exactly sure what to do. You can see, This sometimes happens to JPEGs where you have a bad bit, and then it screws up the rest of the photo. Not too much you can really do about it. Trying to figure out how much I should actually care. Seeing as how it's not a big deal, I'll just crop it. No biggie. Alright, it's the end of our first set. This is going to be a full 4-set thing today. So I'm just going to try to power through it. See what we have for people. Yeah, sorry. So I guess you guys are New York people. Should have learned that yesterday. Yeah, I guess it runs like the Island Line on the Isle of Wight. I've actually thought about that myself. I'm still wondering like what the setup was with the Victory interlocking, the old one versus the new. Like what the heck they were doing. I'm still never. I just don't know like what the setup was because there were clearly old signals for that, but at the same point, it's clearly it's not like the Tompkinsville where you can see evidence that the interlocking is was original to the system. Here we are looking down at the what I'm going to call the 1B switch. Nothing is telling me that it's not that. I can't see anything on the switch machine. I can't see anything between the rails. So I'm just gonna have to go with the what might be incorrect nomenclature from post 2004. That's a 5H switch machine. Note the dual control, and that little wiggle there indicates that it's got the inbuilt like some sort of point like motor controller or something. Oops. Here we have the new Victory 8W switch, or the new Slauson. I'll just call it Victory because it's the Slauson location in Victory. I don't think this would have been, I don't know if this was originally Victory, but I'm going to call it Slauson for the old stuff and call it Victory for the new stuff. Oh, I really want to, I can't cut that. I'm going to have to cut, I can't really crop this. Well, got to include some of this stupid railing. I think they've taken down the anti. Yes, they have taken down the anti-vandalism screens. Those are not there anymore. So they were probably pissing off the maintainers and probably unnecessary because there's no crime in New York anymore. And here we see the one switch, the new 8W, and this guy over there. Even an octagonal, your little octagonal telephone hut. I'll just cut it down, make a square. So when I went down there, I was expecting all sorts of interesting signaling, but it was a little bit disappointing to find that at some point after the MTA era, it was just a bunch of little automatics on dwarf automatics on sticks. So there's not much you can really do with that. Here we have, again, clearly an original signal, I guess, at what used to be Victory. I don't know if this, again, I just wish I had a pre-2004. Come on, damn it. Can make another square one. So if I go to the diagram, it's going to tell me that this was installed in there in 2004 for a contract. Although Victory was, oh yeah, sorry, this was remote controlled Tower B, so I think this was all original. I'm not sure if it was all called Victory or one part was Slauson and one part was Victory, I don't know, but I'll just call this Victory 12E. And here we see the new relay hut and the new 3 switch, which again, I think that's the only thing that was new. And there's the Tompkinsville station over there that, again, at the time was free. And they built like a head house for the fare control. But at this point, there's just a little stairway. There's a stairway on both sides. The other side's now an emergency exit because they only wanted to build one fare control zone or hut. Let's see if there are any comments here. Yes, there are parallels between New York City subway and London Underground, but a bit. They're still pretty different. There's more parallels between New York City subway and British mainline railroads. So our subways are equivalent to British railroads or British, and their who knows what their transit's the equivalent. It's like if their railroads are our transit, what's their transit? Probably our people movers. This shows the 10E signal and then the new masts for 12E and 10E. Is there anything else there that I needed in the cut? Yeah, that's fine. Yep. Wow. I said it's for having just been there a few weeks ago. October, actually. It's just interesting how much this view has changed with the Tompkinsville station now having that, head house and everything. I'm going to cheat for Tompkinsville. It's also interesting that south is eastbound, because in railroad terms, the B&O is always going, it's going east, and it goes east, and then when it hooks and basically does more than a 270, almost probably like a 300-degree sort of arc back, it's still going east. So there you go. I'm not sure if this switch was in service yet. No, it's got the shinies. You can see the overhang where I was taking those pictures from before. This fence is still there and still a decent photo location. Here we have the switch over to the 5A switch out into the MOW siding. If you ever watch my videos, actually, yeah, of course you watch my videos. You're on my channel. This is YouTube. I forgot. This isn't Blogger. You can remember the videos I posted of the SIR maintenance away train that was coming in with shoving the flat cars out of the siding here. This is not a 5H. This is a 5F dual control. It doesn't have that bulge, so it doesn't have the built-in motor controller. So that's how you can tell that. If I had the photos with me, I could check on my newer thing to see if that's changed from then, but I don't have it. I'm not on that computer. This is the 3B switch at Victory. At least you know it's New York because of all the trash. And here we have the, oops, here we have the 5B derail along with a manual derail. So this makes me wonder if maybe these weren't in service. Like, why would you have this manual derail? So that's entirely possible that the manual derail is what counts, and the other one is not yet in service, or is being manually operated. I bet that's new. Yeah, you got the sort of the newer thing there, so just makes you wonder. Don't know. Oh, I know. It's just one of those things where it was a nice hack, one of those nice little life hacks. But I think a lot of people, thanks to the internet, people started to learn, like, doing it more and more, or at least as the economy soured. It was something that the MTA could ignore. But I think the major issue is that the fare increased, the fare inflation just set in. So it went from, losing a little bit of money that they could ignore to so much that they couldn't ignore it anymore. This was marked for Adams interlocking, which is another one of the modern interlockings as 1B. But here they're using it at, this is not Adams, isn't even anywhere close. So that was probably an audible that had to get called. So I bet that this was simply, yeah, it's not in service because it's not set in the derailing position. So. Alright, that's halfway done. Working on this, don't worry. Swoop. So unfortunately, even today, the front view on these cars is very, 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 very limited. There's a little porthole. Sometimes the operators try to cover it over with paper so you can't see them reading newspapers or doing who knows what. One note in the track. What's the other one? What's the next one? I guess that is the 4E signal there at Hannah. So here we have one of after the Victory interlocking, which was an original interlocking, that crossover there. Here we have the first ABS signal and a new signal for the new CTC operation. Again, I'm assuming that this isn't, that's all not cut in, but the ABS number plated 4E or E4. I guess let's go with E4. Maybe get a little bit more. I don't usually do this these days, but it'd be nice to get a little more brightness in that black hole of a signal there. There we go. Can I do the same thing there? Not really. Nope. All right. Anyway. So like I said, when it was already, the signals were already cheapened out at some point when the MTA took over with these little, with the dwarfs on sticks and whatnot. So I mean, even though that the new stuff is safe train, position lit, doing B&O signals, they're only in interlockings. You don't get, the aspects are reduced from a regular B&O system. I'm still happy with it. You get pretty much just as much signal action as you did back in the day. So here's something else you can't do anymore. Like I said, there's no exit on this side of the platform. It's just an emergency exit. I can't remember on B&O CPLs these markers. I guess they were always done like that. But you could just walk down, take a picture, and then wait for the train to show up. What's going on here? Yeah, not much. This is probably from the stairway. So, fun fact, that signal that's on the stick that's bagged, that was actually, for whatever reason, this E4 signal is now the 4E, or the one that, I guess it is 4E. It's not an auto anymore, at least, for HANA interlocking. Yeah, I guess it is 4E. So it went from E4 to 4E. Or that was just some name they were giving it for that reason. Oh, that's a problem. We're good. Shoot. I'm not sure. Let's see if there's anywhere I can find a number. Nah, can't. Yeah, who needs to know the number of a train, a rail car as it's approaching you? Silly. And see, there's not much to do when you're actually on the train, especially back in the day where I had no real zoom function on my camera. Here at the Totenville, about 3 feet above sea level, all the way down at the ass end of Staten Island. According to legend, I believe that Staten Island should have been part of the state of New Jersey, but was lost due to the outcome of a boat race. I still think that New Jersey should fight to try to get it restored. So this is number 422 and 456 at Totenville. I'm pretty sure that yeah, I'm just ignoring those older photos. Just gotta make sure how I spell Totenville right. And it's farther south than the yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding when I said that that yard is like right on the station, even not just in the yard. It's just everything is right on the bay there. And here we have 422 by itself. I've never ridden an express on this. Oh, maybe I have. I think when I was trying to do that record attempt, because you could start at Totenville whenever you wanted. I think I was hoping the plan was to get an express, but I think we were too late for that, and that's really what set us behind. The express being significantly faster. This is also a Totenville. I'm not sure which one this is. Today I have the photo chops to take when for like on the DC Metro and stuff where you don't have front numbers. I'll make sure to grab a quick throwaway photo of whatever the number is so I don't forget. But back in the day I didn't have that luxury with the small memory cards. I pretty much blame everything that went wrong back in the day on my crappy digital camera and small memory cards. You might have noticed. You can sort of see me in the front there, but I'm not going to zoom in. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of me zooming in. Here we have some of the signals here at the Totenville Interlocking. Looks like I'm just have to keep this whole thing unless I do a square. So while this was technically resignaled, I believe it is still. I mean, actually, I don't know how much it was resignaled. I mean, we can see the new relay HUD over there. But it's still able to be controlled. Technically, it can be controlled from Tower B. So if Tower A has some sort of failure, they do have an alternate control location. But again, I don't know how much that signal, that goes in with the stuff, the technology and the interlocking. If we go here, we can see. Actually, yeah, this says it was installed in '89. Again, I guess it wasn't rebuilt, or the original trans control maintainer control panel was replaced. So maybe it does have the original. Relay logic. I mean, it's probably all relay logic to begin with. Anyway, here we have signals W4W4, 4W3, and 8W. Is that how you spell? Is it Totenville Interlocking? 8W plus 4W3 plus 4W4, or you can see the interlocking HUD, so that would be all right, getting down to it. Here we have a nice view of the entire interlocking. So unfortunately, just due to time and general interest, I did not go all the way down to Totenville my trip, and I really should have upon hindsight. But it was probably, I really didn't miss out. I mean, I'll show you what I missed out on in a second, of at least confirming if something specific was still there. And I think it is. But it would have resulted in a lot of time. So, 1 second. You'll see what I'm talking about once I finish this photo. Or the next one. Here we have the Totenville station with, it looks like 3 trains. Storage, pulling trains into the station requires a reverse move, which I'm sure is fun and popular. Let's see if I can crop this a little bit better. Got safety stop boards there so the trains don't go into the drink. That's a nice picture. This would be one of the end signals. The stop. I'm not sure these were given numbers. Nah. Probably put what track that was. That would have to be track 1. I don't think I had lunch down there. I think we just waited for a few headways of stuffing and left. Alright, down to the last batch of photos for tonight. Alright, here's what I was talking about. So, when I was there, almost all the signals in the SAR, at least the home signals, only display your clear type stuff, approach, clear. Either has it only has a 12 o'clock orbital or a 6 o'clock orbital. But here we have a thing with with one of the rare ones with a 9 o'clock or, what o'clock was that? What did I give that? 12.6. I guess that would be 10 or 11 o'clock orbital. Yeah, I guess so. So anyway, I think that's either slow approach or approach slow or approach medium. I don't see. There's so few B&O position lights left. 1 second. Oh, it's the medium speed, quote unquote medium speed. All right, and that's going to be but the reason Totenville's special is you have these little platform exit signals. So if you're going to be diverging over a 5A or 5 switch or 1 switch, these platform signals, which are even with the cab signals without fixed waysides, you have these fixed. These like the last ones that are sort of like fixed block signals. So this will give you that approach medium. Here on the 6W. I don't know if that was retained, but I suspect it was. And it would have been nice to have seen it, especially with a proper zoom. But again, if my train had pulled in on the other track, it would have had to have waited, it wouldn't have needed to cross over, so therefore I would have had to wait an extra headway, dot, 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 and then, trains are running like every half an hour, so it's just not much I can really go for. Oops. Wait, is that west? Yeah. All right, that's the last Staten Island Railroad picture. Here we have our Statue of Liberty. Oh, gosh. Not a great zoom. I was taking much better photos of this year. Where do we go after that? I think we did something with the 2 or the 4. This is when you'd still see, I think the R42 penetration was not yet total. This looks like the 4 because you still have air signals or air switches. Or the 3? Where the heck did we go? Is this new lots? And stuff just would sort of vanish. All right, let's go to the IRT. No, we don't need yards. Interlocking diagrams. That's not Lennox. Nostrand. Let's see. First, let's check the signals, what style they are. If they are Union, switching signal, A10s. Something with R142s. Let me just look at the line diagram. Yeah, what line is that? Eastern Parkway line out to new lots. All right, well, then where is it? Yeah, there it is. I think that's new lots. Yep, I'm right. It was new lots. I mean, the 3 train's kind of a giveaway. Yep, 216. Let's see if the chat knew. Yep, I guess the chat does know. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that it was. So let's just Go to the diagram. Zoom, zoom, zoom. It's 216. They don't have those autos in there, so I don't know. But that's the 215 switch there. I'll just crop out those autos. Don't really need them. They're already half cropped. Extend and shrink. There it goes. 215A switch plus an R142. Yeah. And here, I don't know what those, again, I don't know what those autos, when was this interlocking built? It was 1982. Yeah, it's a shame a lot. It'll be interesting to see what happens with all that CBTC stuff. Like even on the Queens Boulevard, they put in, as they close the towers, they've been putting in standard signals. So I don't know what they're going to do with replacing them or what. Because on the L, they definitely went to that sort of cab signal without fixed wayside signal thing. I also don't know what they've done on the 7. I got to get up there and ride that. But I am going to be on the nostalgia train this year on the Sunday the 22nd. Since it's running on an A alignment up to 145th Street, I think I mentioned this before, I'm going to have to go again. Yeah, we have a 362. Oops. Didn't catch the number. 62. Yep, and we cut back to fair interlocking with, I think that's the 4AE. Oh, man. I'm just going to roll into my signaling zone and, oh, shoot. Oh, good. It's still alphabetical. I don't have to try to have this filter through. This might be 4W then? I guess it'll be 4AW. I don't know if that's medium clear or limited clear. Oh well. Next. Oh, it's number 1525 again. And here we have the 4 AW and the 1 AW. Also the Scepter coming in there. Fair, if it hasn't already, it's getting turned into all the pneumatics are or if they're not already gone, they're going to be soon. The Amtrak's doing a general switch replacement. This was one of the better pneumatic interlockings, and it's going to go over to electric, unfortunately. Uh, 1386. Alrighty. There we go. Here's I don't think that push-pull weight's there anymore, unfortunately. 325 and 2405. Don't really see what I can crop out of this on either, unfortunately. Have to keep it this way. There we go. Next. Which switch is this? It should tell me that 21. Got a 21 switch A5 with these the blue insulators, which is nice. Very colorful. Man, it's a real shame to see all these air switches at Fair get axed. They were one of the easiest ones to get some because it was pretty predictable when they were going to get when they would be thrown. So it was a good place to get videos of them throwing. And here we have the 1 AW signal from the rear. And above, I'm going to do a square one of this. Two left. Yeah, not only were they A5, air powered, they a lot of them were doubles. So that's super sad. But at least I got a couple. I got photos of them over the years. I don't have a lot of. There are things that I really should have more of, like the NEC. It's just so close, and so and it's always you can't really go up and just hang out and take pictures. That it's usually just I've been usually discouraged, or more even today where you're not going to get busted for taking photos. I just I have places to be, so I'm always there catching a train. 2x A5 points side plus blue insulators. Here we have the what is that? 363. I'll probably just keep this one as well. I might do a little, I'll crop that river out a bit. Don't really need that there. Now they've decommissioned that low-level platform. They don't use that anymore because the Meadowlands, not the Meadowlands, the Morrisville Yard, that platform kind of got disused. You got zapped pretty quick after that. So it's 363. Tomorrow I'm actually going to go out doing my Amtrak Thanksgiving Wednesday thing. And there we go. There we have it. That is the entire set of photos from my Staten Island Railroad trip in August 2004. All right. Anybody have any questions? Oh, I mean, not necessarily. People who say that, I mean, I think that, again, first I think the Queens Plaza is going to have traditional signals. Yes, you can also, if it's running on a Sunday, you might be able to do some, you can always, give them absolute block protection. That is accommodated for in the L. 2, there's nothing that says that you can't put a CBT, you can outfit them with this sort of stuff. You can, what you would have to do is hook up a display, and the operator would operate, and if he, it basically all it would basically give him would be you hit the, it pops the emergency brake. So you'd have to have some advanced operator skill there to keep it under the braking curve visually, as opposed to the new trains that they can do more than just hit, dump the train line. So it's not hard to dump the train line. It's less hard to outfit an old cab with some, throw an electronic box somewhere in a cab, put a bump out somewhere underneath it, the antennas, whatever it needs. And remember, this isn't relays here. This is solid state. You can put the antennas and things, and the operator sees the braking curve and whatever, and just has to operate it manually. If he hits it, it'll dump the train line. Train stops. It's whatever. It's a little crude, but you can do it that way. I know that in the UK they will often put like the for Heritage Steam, they have been able to outfit them with the cab signals and stuff, the ETRMS, either in a trailing vehicle or on the cabs. Again, you can put cab signals in steam locomotives. You can do all sorts of stuff. It just turns down to you just have your only action it's dump the brake. Boom. Oh, not enough interlockings? The only issue is that one location between Trenton and Midway. For some bizarre reason, in the Northeast Corridor Improvement Project, whenever they got the money to put in that ham interlocking outside of Fair, that one that's replaced Millham, and it was just like, it was something where like they didn't have the budget to do the Nassau one. And I think it was just weren't any stations. You had no Hamilton. There was nothing at Midway. There was nothing between New Brunswick and Trenton. It was only New Brunswick, Princeton Junction, Trenton. So, you didn't really, I guess that they just at the time they could justify not doing it. Yeah. Anyway, I gotta go. I gotta head out now. I'll be on tomorrow, probably with a single. I got to do one more single set this week. I'll figure out what to do. But anyway, this was fun. Thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow, and I'll see you Thanksgiving, and I'll see you Friday, all these days.